Hey folks, we're playing a new Let's Play. We're starting yet another new Let's Play. We're doing a Sierra game this time, using the actual AGI interface, not a fan-made one. And we're playing Gold Rush, as you probably can guess from the title of the video. And that's probably how you got here. It was a unique game for the time, and I think it was one of the last games, if not the last one, to use the Sierra AGI interface. This is who we play, Jared Wilson, a young, ambitious city slicker born and raised in the urban America. Quite frankly, he's perfectly prim and proper, caught in the trap of a 9 to 5. Is this all life has to offer? There has to be more. This man is ready for action. As of this moment, no longer we accept only dreaming of adventure. There's 3 routes you can take, which is quite unique. Well, for games around that period, for the most part, especially adventure games, have that much open world, I guess, or that much replayability, put it that way. You could replay 3 times at least, and get 3 different journeys and 3 different, well, you get a different experience each time you play. We'll all be doing all 3 paths in this Let's Play series. We'll start off, I think, with I'll explain what you do first. The first one you saw on the top left is by Stagecoach. The second one, which he just fell off of, is by boat, traveling around Cape Horn, sorry. And the last one he took was for the jungles of Panama. And finally he lands in Brooklyn, where you start your adventure. I think we'll take the Cape Horn boat trip first. It's the one I enjoy the most, and it's one that really captured my imagination when I used to see this game in the Sierra, I guess they're called interaction catalogs. I'd look at this game quite often in their catalogue and kind of picture, wow, it's quite unique having a steam coach or steamboat to ride on. It's something quite interesting to me at the time, and it was one I always wanted to go, or storyline I always wanted to take whenever I read this magazine and thought of this game. Anyway, we'll start off the game. We're in Brooklyn, New York, 1848, just before the Gold Rush. We have a unique interface here. We're going to elapse time, hours, minutes, seconds. When the time reaches 14 minutes, the Gold Rush gets announced. Oh, we're blocking your path there, sir. The Gold Rush gets announced. The prices of the house plummet, and the prices for everything else increases. So we need to do everything we need to do in town before that happens. But there is a trick. If you go into fast speed, well, we'll take a look at the timer now. 2 minutes, 31 seconds, pardon me, and we'll mess around a bit. Again, still 2 minutes, 51 seconds, so time doesn't change. The first one we need to do, this is our house here. And by many, there are many houses in Brooklyn, but this one is a special place in your heart. Well, that's because it's our house, but not for much longer. It's a difficult decision, and your house means a lot to you, but you put it up for sale. But we need to go inside before we get rid of it for good. There's a few things we need to do inside. Home sweet home. The first thing you need to do is perhaps the least obvious. We need to close the desk here. As you see, there's a bit of paper. This paper is a bank statement. That's quite vital to the rest of the game, so we pick it up. Retrieve a crumpled bank statement from the top slates of the roll-top desk, sorry. And the last thing we need to do is look at this photo album. Well, we can just top album. Memories, memories, memories. Every time you look at this album, it brings back memories. This album begins with a painting of your father and his best man, Mr. Quayle, the bank president, shaking hands after the wedding. You can't help but remember the help Mr. Quayle was during the years after your parents' death. He raised you and your brother Jake until you could live on your own. Here's a painting of your older brother Jake when he was just a baby. You often think of Jake and wonder where he is and what he's doing. And just across the page is a painting of you. You must have been about 18 months old. And finally you see a photo of the entire family together. You remember the excitement of posing in front of a camera. This is a very, very special photo to you. And I guess that's a bit of a hint for us to take that photo. So we will. Carefully remove the family photo from the album. Now you kind of think that you might need to do more here, as there's a lot around this house. We've got a closet we can walk into, and the bedroom as well. But there's nothing else you really need to do in here. Well, not that I'm aware of, and not that it affects the score. We probably won't get top score just because it does take a while, especially later on in the game, but we'll do as much as we can. Unlike Enclosure, I don't believe there's any bonuses for you getting top score. Because the time gets affected, it does, I believe, affect the likelihood of the prospective buyer coming or showing up to your house. So I'll quickly flick it on normal and see if he shows up. If he doesn't, well, we'll move on for a bit and carry on the rest of the things we need to do around the city. I want to do this as a short Let's Play because I've had enough trouble trying to record it for a while now. It tends to lock up every so often, and I think for some reason the recording is actually coming out quite large. So I'm going to make these episodes quite short, at least comparatively to my prior Let's Plays. So we probably won't finish all we need to do in the town in this episode, but we'll try to get as much out of the way as possible. Anyway, he isn't showing up, so we'll move on from here for now. We can always go back later. Since we're in fast mode at the moment, time's on our side, so we don't really need to worry about the gold rush hitting. There's a few things you need to do here also. As you can probably tell if you're familiar with AGI graphics, these are flowers here, so we might as well pick some. Pick a few flowers. The other one is less obvious. This is a gazebo, as you probably can tell, but what you can't tell is you're meant to look down at the cracks. You look through the cracks carefully. There must be something under the gazebo, but you can't see it right here. Well, we'll stand up a few more spaces, and there we go. It's that simple, but not simple. You see the sparkling of something shiny. Oh yes, a closer look reveals a gold coin under the gazebo. We'll grab that coin. Stretch your arm as far as humanly possible. The gold coin is almost beyond your reach, but you finally are able to grasp it. And that's all you need from this place. However, a word of warning, if you step on the grass there, you do get fined. You get fined 1 point. We won't do that because while I'm not going for full score, I don't want to lose any points. This is the post office. We will need to go back there later. The letter isn't there for us at the moment, but hopefully will show up later on in the game. And this is the bank. As you may remember, we did pick a bank statement up, so we'll read the statement first, and then we'll move on from there. This is your handwritten quarterly statement from the Brooklyn Bank. On the date of the statement, your balance of your account number 174 was $200. The statement, your account number is actually random each time you play the game. 174 this time, but I had to record this a few times. Hopefully this recording turns out alright. If you're watching it, it must have. But we had a different number each time, from 39 to 79, and now 174 I think it was. I've already forgotten what it is. We'll read the statement again, I've actually forgotten. Yep, 174. We'll get money. He just asked if we wanted any help, and here we do. Okay, Jared, what's your account number? Well, as I said, 174. Just a moment, I'll get your money for you. Here's your $200, sir. So we got some money, but obviously that's not going to be enough to travel out west with, especially since we have to pick up a few things at the store for the Cape Horn route. As well buy a ticket, which, well, $200 just won't cover. But to learn, you actually have to learn how to travel, and you have to do this either way if you want top score. In this warehouse here, by the boat, which we will be taking, is a poster. You have to read this poster to learn of the travel, but even if you do take the routes not mentioned here, you have to read this poster for the 1 point it gives you. Bound for California, the New York boat steamer Seafarer now has all your cargo engaged and will have a prompt dispatch. Buy a ticket from Leonard at 12 Front Street. As I mentioned before, there's a time limit. The gold rush hits at 14 minutes, I believe, and the boat leaves at 18 minutes. So if you miss the boat, well, you're stranded in Brooklyn. And that's not where you want to be. Brooklyn's a tough town to live in, especially if you're homeless. I will quickly check in the post office and then back at our house. We'll do one more thing before we wrap up this episode, but I just want to do this as quick as possible. As I said, I've had trouble filming the episodes before. I think this is my third or fourth attempt now, to be honest, and it gets a little bit tiring. Oh, no one's here. We'll quickly switch it back to normal mode. As I said, I think the game clock does play a bit of influence in this scene, as well as getting the letter. Well, the retail man, or house purchaser, or whatever you want to call him, is not here yet. So we'll switch back to fast and walk around town for a little bit more. I think we got a little bit more time before we need to wrap up this episode. Here we go, this is 12 Front Street, this is where you buy the ticket. We will need to head back there later when we get enough money, but right now we're broke. Well, not broke, but not nearly enough to afford a ticket. We'll do a few more things around town, or one more thing before we wrap up this episode, and that's check into work. We do have a job in town as we were a city slicker, but since we're heading out west we won't be doing that anymore. We'll take a look in the post office one more time before we head off, and our letter still hasn't arrived. Hopefully it arrives by next episode, and we can move on swiftly after that. But we'll do one more thing before we wrap up this episode, and that's stopping at our job, as I said. And since we're leaving, I think it's about time we quit our job. The boss is here sitting in the bottom left, so we'll tell him the news. Your boss is shocked by your decision. He says, "But Jared, you want the best." He continues, "But a man has to do what a man has to do. I wish you the very best, Jared. We'll miss you around here." So we moved on. We don't have a job anymore either, so we really don't want to be stranded here. Homeless and jobless, well, that's not the life Jared wants to live. There's one more thing you have to do here, and that's, I guess you want to clean up your desk, but there's not much on your desk. In fact, well, I'll show you. Oops. It's a plain desk with a blotter on it. So we'll look at the blotter then. That was terrible spelling there. At the edge of your blotter you see a corner of a newspaper clippings you keep under it. Read the clippings. You can't actually take these clippings. These clippings are very important to you. You find yourself reading them often, wondering where your brother is and what he's doing. These clippings describe your complicated episode of your only brother Jake. Jake was falsely accused of a crime he didn't commit. Although Jake was promised a fair trial by the townspeople, the townspeople weren't interested in justice. The result would have been a foregone conclusion. Jake's only alternative was leave town and never come back. When he left Brooklyn, you wanted to go with him. Jake told you to stay because it may be dangerous. But he did promise he'd contact you if something important happened. He left 11 years ago and you haven't heard from him since. There's actually two alternatives to that dialogue there. I will show the other alternative when I do another Let's Play. Well, I mean, I'll re-record it and show you what else can happen there. Anyway, I think we'll wrap up there. There's a few things we need to do in town before we head up west, but that's all for now. Hope you enjoyed. See you later.